Hi, and welcome to Here with Laura. I'm your host, Laura Williams. I'm a designer, entrepreneur, and mom, and this is a space where real life and meaningful conversations meet. Today's guest is a media strategist who's represented household names, brands, talent, and special events on both a national and regional scale, crafting strategies, pitching to journalists, coordinating interviews, and managing photo shoots to make sure his clients' voices are thoughtfully communicated, steering it all with strategy and precision. Off the clock, he has redesigned his own home and has enjoyed the creative spark into interiors. Please welcome to the podcast, Principal of Parker Phoenix Public Relations, Jesse Parker Stowell.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk.
I know,
Chat with you.
this is going to be so fun. So we have a common friend who I just realized. So recently we had Jen Burns
Yes.
on the podcast, and I had the greatest time. But PR world is apparently a very small
It's
world.
small, especially all of the publicists that came from New York and LA. We all kind of know each other. So,
Yeah.
Jen and I had worked together when she was at OK Magazine for years in LA and New York. And she had called me and she's like, "You live in Austin, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I moved down here about 5 years ago." And she's like, "I'm thinking about moving, looking for a job if you hear of anything." And I happened to be I had lunch with a publisher for a local magazine that day. And he was like, "I'm looking for a new editor-in-chief." So I was like, "You edited OK Magazine. I think you can handle
Yeah.
the local Austin one." And I was like, "And it's a great way for you to meet all the locals, find out what's happening in town and chat." So connected with them and
The
had the
rest
job
is
at the end of the
history.
week. And
Oh
we've
my
been working
gosh.
together now on the local scale. So it's been
That's
great.
so fun. So how did you get your start in PR?
So it was an interesting, non-traditional way of entering. So I actually had started in high school. So we had a unfortunate incident in high school with some school violence where the local media wanted to come and interview students all the time. And students were not quite prepared to talk to local media, let's just say. So, as they shouldn't have expected to be. So I was on student council and they wanted me to be the student spokesperson for the school. So I started off doing message training and media training with a local publicist in Lansing, Michigan. And
Are you from Michigan?
I'm from
originally?
Michigan. I grew up
Okay.
in Lansing.
Okay, cool.
And the publicist, I was super interested in what she did and how she put together messaging and talked to the media. So I actually interned with her my senior year of high school, before going into college.
Mhm.
And that was my first entry into PR.
Oh
It was very different PR. I was working on the Oil and Gas Association of Michigan and the Capital Area Transit Authority.
Yeah.
So very, very institutional things.
But it gave you the roots to
But it
figure
gave you
out
the
what
roots
you're
of
doing.
figuring out
Yeah.
do I like this kind of work? Do I like working with journalists? Do I, am I a decent writer? So as soon as I got to college, I randomly started dating a club owner, which was not in my mom's plan of things I should be doing in college.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry about that one. So I actually helped him open some nightclubs
Awesome.
and did the PR for those.
Yeah.
And then from there, I fell into another internship doing nightlife, and then another one doing more fashion. And that one, I actually stayed with that company for 13 years. So
in fashion PR.
In fashion PR. So I started off in fashion, and then as that company grew and we did other things, I took on different kind of running different divisions. So I started off as an intern and left as senior vice president 10 years ago.
Oh my.
We were I think 5 employees when I started. And we were about 100 when I left.
That's amazing.
And really learned everything there. So it was very much on the job training. We didn't really have a PR program in college. We didn't have a communications department. I went to it was very, let's say, traditional liberal arts school, which it was all core curriculum. I had to study art history and the classics and that. I was like, so when am I going to learn something to get me a job? And they're like, "Oh, that's for grad school." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to go to that." And they're like, "Okay, then you should probably start internships now." So I did a lot of internships in college.
That's amazing. Yeah. So this agency that you were with for
13 years,
13
full picture,
years.
yeah.
Okay.
They're amazing.
Where are they located?
They're in New York and LA.
Okay.
They actually just are opening a office here in Austin now.
Oh,
randomly.
how funny.
But it started off, I think as PR, and then they added in production, they added in management,
Amazing.
and it was a little bit of everything. So like my clients there ran the gamut. It was, Victoria's Secret was one of our big clients. We ran the Victoria's Secret fashion show. My boss, our CEO, like came up with the idea with the head of PR from Victoria's Secret.
Oh my.
I represented Revlon and LMA doing like all of their launches with like celebrity faces, lots of hotel openings, restaurant openings, Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary or 40th anniversary. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it was like it was a breakneck learn as you go kind of situation.
Yeah.
But I think that's sometimes the best way to learn something is, do or drown.
Well, and now you have your own firm, and I feel like those were the tools where you learned everything to start your own firm.
I learned all of the skills I would need to be a publicist. I then had to learn the skills of running a business,
which is a whole nother animal.
A whole different thing. And I took a jump on that one. I had worked there for 13 years. I'd taken a vacation, probably my first vacation that was over a week long. Took 2 weeks. I went to Greece. And then while I was there, I was like, do I really want to keep living in New York and like doing PR here? And I love the company, but at some point you kind of you're not going to really progress any further. And New York was expensive, honestly. Like it was, unless you're making $1 million, it's hard to live a nice life in New York unless you're extremely rich. And
oh, absolutely.
Publicists got paid, but they did not get paid that much. So
I spent time in New York and I felt the same way. And my bedroom, I was telling somebody about this, that I had a piano in my room because I wanted to have a piano, and I've always had a piano.
You found space for it?
No, it was right at the foot of my bed. So literally, like, I could play with my toes if I want to. That is how small my room was. But it was, centrally located, and that was great. But that's all you have. And sometimes you get to a point where you're like, I gotta.
Well, and I feel like I didn't spend any time at home.
No.
Like, because my space was so small, you're not hosting, you're not entertaining. Everything's happening out at a restaurant, at a bar, where you're spending money.
Exactly.
And I like being home. I liked designing my own space.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I ran out of room to do more design. So I'm like, where can I get a little bit more space? So I was working with, I represented Camila Alves McConaughey and in New York, and then Brooklyn Decker and Andy Roddick, and they all lived in Austin. So they kept telling me, oh, you should move to Austin. You should move to Austin. And I'm like, I don't know. And I come off this vacation and I was like, maybe I'll look at Austin.
Yeah.
So I kind of put the cart before the horse and came back on a Sunday, quit my job on Monday.
Oh.
And then I was like, I'll work 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have about 2 weeks to move my life to Austin, find an apartment, all that. Luckily my, Brooklyn and Andy and Camilla were great. And I crashed with Brooklyn and Andy for a little while when I first lived here. And until I found a house, and I've been here now 10 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been great.
That's amazing.
But Austin's changed a lot since in the last 10 years even, but
I've been here for 8 and it's changed in those 8 years.
Yeah. The skylines
doubled.
You're just like, oh wait,
how did they do it so fast?
Yeah. But it has never lost the appeal that I found when I first came to visit of everyone is wants to help everyone else.
The kindness.
Yeah.
I remember when we first drove through and we were going through a fast food line, and we don't ever eat fast food, but it's normally because where I came from in Florida, even on top of, not being a healthy choice, it's, you don't get great, kindness when you're going through or anything like that. People are kind of snippy, whatever, Here, all the fast food people were so nice.
So courteous. It's and
we're like,
Southern hospitality to a max. Yeah.
It's a real thing, but the kindness is everywhere, and that's honestly one of the greatest appeals of Austin.
Yeah, and even from the professional standpoint of there's a lot of publicists, there's a lot of people coming into town. Everyone helps everyone. So I had a friend that works at was working at the W Hotel in marketing, and she's born, raised, lived, grew up in Austin, moved to LA and came back. But she's like, the one thing I need to tell you from the beginning is everyone plays nice in the sandbox. If you don't play nice in the sandbox,
you're not going to succeed.
You're not going to succeed, and you'll kind of get pushed out. Other people will just be like, don't invite him.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like everyone helps everyone. Even like, competing PR firms, we send each other business.
Mm-hmm.
I like, if I see an opportunity for something in, the New York Times, I'm like, I don't have a client that fits that actually, but I think, Kara Colgan's does. Let me call her. And I was like, hey, let me set you up with this writer. This is great for your client. It's good for the city and it's good for the community. So like, why would we gatekeep information when something, not to mention the karma of it'll probably come back to you at some point of like, they're going to help you out as well. But
I feel like it's like that in the design world too. I mean, all of the designers that I have met in Austin, the community is so strong and we get together for happy hours.
Mhm.
We spend time together and you kind of feed off of each other's stories and learn. So it's continual growth and you're not on this business ownership journey alone.
Yep.
Because like we were saying before, owning a business is so hard.
It's so different than just your regular, it's a whole different skill set of like setting up invoicing and billing. And, I was very much like I don't like money. Like, I mean, I like spending it, but I don't
like having it.
I like having it and I like the security of it, but like the getting, like having to call clients and like, oh, wait, this invoice is over.
And having to explain this invoice was for this and this and this. And it's like, you know this because it was written out, but now I have to explain it to you and I'm uncomfortable and
100%. So I like, there's certain things I figured out how to outsource. Like, I moved here and was it personal administrators? Patty O'Mara, I guess it's run businesses here. She ran, I think, Michael Dell's personal office. Oh. And then she started a company where she just runs the back end of the business for you. So like she handles, like her company handled all my invoicing and all of that. I was like, but she wanted you to learn it. So she taught it to you as she did it. I was like, she'll continue doing it, but she's like, I want you to understand, have the basic business sense of this. I mean, she was amazing.
That's so kind.
I mean, and she's a star in terms of Austin. Like I was looking for insurance or something, or like a lawyer. And I was like, I can't find anybody that's like willing to take like a small business. Like, and I mean, she was like, hold on one second, starts calling the people. You're going to take this client. And I mean, these are like old, giant law firms. Is this Patty? Yeah, you're going to take the client. I was like, oh, okay. She's a fixer. I was like, oh, she's amazing.
Yeah, she deserves to be in your circle.
She was amazing. Like I went to, she I think had her 50th anniversary of her company at the Headliners Club. And I walked in and I'm like, oh, this is like my target list of clients. Like it's like everybody in business. I was like, how do you know these people? She's like, oh, I run their businesses. It's fine. It's fine. But she's amazing. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. So you have her under your belt helping you on the invoicing
She was helping me on the business side. She unfortunately passed away a few years ago.
Oh,
but her team is, I mean, they've been with her for forever and I trust them inherently. So like they run the business side. Amazing. And then otherwise it's, it's me. I hired a few freelancers in New York and LA to help with special events occasionally, but otherwise I'm doing like the strategy, I'm doing the pitching. I kind of like the guy, I think Jen was talking about a little bit about scale. Yeah. I wanted to keep it small. When you get too big, you have to take on a lot of things that sometimes you're not interested in. That was, one of the reasons I left my old agencies. It got really big and I didn't get to pick every client that I worked with. And I didn't sometimes believe in the clients I was working on. So I wanted
Isn't it so beautiful that you're in a place where you can say, I want to work with Brooklyn Decker because I like her. I believe in what she does. I want to stand by her. Yep. And so much of what you do is feeding into these people, like their integrity. True, know?
And I mean, you need to have that credibility there. And if you don't believe in what your client's doing or saying, it shows.
Yeah.
Like journalists aren't dumb. They're like, yeah, how much are you getting paid for this? You're like, a lot. To like, to negotiate away all of my actual value on this. So yeah, like it's been nice to have like clients that I'm 100% into. I can be a little bit more picky and choosy about the clients I work on. And most importantly, like it's stuff I'm passionate about. Like, yeah, if that passion shows through when you're making that phone call to a journalist or when you're working an event and you're chatting up people, like when you have to fake it. Yeah. I'm pretty good. I can fake it decently, but it's nice to not have to.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you mentioned events. You help to put on a lot of wonderful benefits locally for some of your clients. What are some that you have coming up that are
So we
kind of
have the Andy Roddick Foundation Gala is coming up on November 10th.
Okay.
So that one is a annual gala. It's over at ACL Live. So Andy gets to pick the artist, and he and I are on very much the same wavelength of like it's born the
Are they
same year.
announced yet?
We are. It is, and I'm gonna let you know who it is. It is Wyclef Jean.
Oh my gosh.
Last year was Big Boy.
Oh my
So
goodness,
like
that's
we're on the very much same wavelength of
Yeah.
like we grew up the same music, and I'm like, yeah, keep picking the hits.
I love that.
So we have that one coming up in November, and
Okay.
then I have the Farrah Fawcett Foundation. I actually wasn't aware until they approached me that Farrah's originally from Texas and went to
Oh.
the University of Texas. So they do their gala in Dallas, but it showcases, I mean, all of her work with cancer research, which is unfortunately what she passed of.
Yeah.
But it also showcases, a lot of things that she did in life outside of, the great hair she had at Charlie's Angels. But like, she was a sculptor, which I didn't know.
Wow.
She actually worked with. A lot of her pieces are up at the Umlauf
Really?
Sculpture Gardens.
Oh my.
And she had gone to University of Texas, studied sculpture under, I think, a member of the Umlauf family. And so she works closely with them. But we have that one on October 30th in Dallas with Martina McBride is performing. So
That'll be amazing.
I feel like it's a good October. I got Wyclef and Martina.
And it's
then
amazing that all these things are local. You're here. You're not having to travel all over the place, which I'm
Exactly,
sure
yeah.
you travel a ton in your line of work.
It's been nice, actually. Since the pandemic, I can do a lot of things remotely, which I used to not be able to do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, even a lot of the interviews my talent clients are doing are via Zoom or, podcast via Zoom or phone call. So it's been nice. I've been home a lot more, which I like.
And you have a beautiful home here that you're really proud of.
I am very proud of it. My fiance and I purchased a house 3 years ago. It seems like it was only 2. It's gone by quickly. But we bought this house that was, we'll say, rundown. It had been rented out to grad students over and over again. And I mean, it had a beautiful framework. So the first thing we moved in there.
Is it a historical home?
So the house is from the Holly neighborhood.
Okay.
It was a bungalow in the Holly neighborhood, and they moved it in. It was built in the 40s. They moved it in the 60s to Cherrywood neighborhood.
Oh,
and then
wow.
added a big expansion on in the late 80s, early 90s. So
I'm sure finding the balance between what they did.
Yeah. And and I mean, while they moved it and added on, they did not update. So, first step was like, going through and being like, how's that plumbing?
Yeah.
They pulled out the brass pipes, and they're that big and that much water was getting through. The rest was rust, and I was like, okay, those all have to be replaced.
Yeah.
We redid electrical, but the homeowner before, 2 owners before had been a woodworker, so he had done a lot of the actual like the wood paneling. He made this amazing coffered ceiling in the dining room.
Oh wow!
So there's a lot of elements of it that I just we had to keep the character.
Yeah.
But then there was, some non-functionality. As much as he was an amazing woodworker, he put a room in the center of the addition with hallways all the way around it, and one window into a hallway into a window, and then considered it a room. And I'm like, legally, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we did a little reconfiguring of walls and updating. Dining room just had to be completely redone. But it turned out amazing. We worked actually with a local company that does a ton of large scale home building. And during the pandemic, they turned all their builders into renovators. And so they finished it was
You said it was insanely fast, right?
month and a half, including Thanksgiving in the middle of that. So we moved out on Halloween and we moved back in on Christmas Eve day.
I do a lot of remodels.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I mean, for them to completely take every piece of piping out,
Yeah.
put in new piping, new electrical everywhere, move walls. They were amazing. But I mean, they were working long hours.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom was visiting on Christmas Day. Or no, sorry. She was coming in on Christmas Eve. And that was our deadline of like when we had to finish. I was at the airport as they were sweeping up the house to turn it back to turn it back over to us.
Wow.
So like it was tight, but they got it
But
done.
you did
like
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve they were having workers.
That's amazing.
But
what a good team to work with.
It was great. So yeah, we did that. That was round 1 renovations, and we just finished round 2. Of course, there was one living room. The living room I hadn't touched, and then one night I stayed awake a little too long watching HGTV. And decided
Isn't that how it starts for so many?
Yeah. My fiance was not pleased when he came out of the bedroom at 7 a.m. I was like, "Did you start renovations last night?" And I was like, I did demo. It was just demo. And he's like, "How did I not wake up through demo?" And I had taken down like a wall and like
That's
all the
hysterical.
trim. And he's like, "So I guess we're starting this new renovation." I'm like,
it's time.
It's time. It's time. So we just finished that one.
I haven't ever been that bad, but my husband has woken up the next day and I've had like a room partially painted where I'm like, oh no, I started doing this because I was feeling inspired and I had the paint.
But when you feel
He's
inspired,
like,
you have to sometimes start it. Or I will fall into I'll put it off.
Yeah.
And then I start second guessing everything. Because I'm like, oh, I saw this other color. Maybe I should do that. And I'm like, no, like you loved it so much that you started taking down a wall. Just finish it.
Yeah.
Like, so.
I've found recently that it's because I like to have control over things. And so sometimes when I feel like I don't have control over other avenues in my creativity, I'm like, I got to do something in this house.
That makes
the
sense.
other day, I swapped my music room and my dining room. Just at a whim, my baby grand piano. My daughter and I are pushing it. My 8-year-old.
It's like, I mean,
I'm like,
there's free labor. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Right there.
I know. She's like, this is a little heavy. I'm like, you got it. Let's go.
It's like, we're not going to the park today. You did all your workout.
Yeah.
No, I 100% get that.
Seeking control where you can.
It is. And I mean, it's something, designing your space is something that you can like show a fair amount of control on. And it also lets you it gives you something to be really excited about. So like every time I walk out of, my bedroom into a newly designed room, I'm like, oh, I remember that accomplishment of doing that renovation. Or I remember certain pieces that I'm like, I loved the journey of getting that piece. Or even sometimes I'm like, I hated the journey of getting that piece, but it was worth it for this.
Yeah.
So
well, it sparks that little joy inside of you where you're like, ooh, this feels good every time
Every time.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, like every morning I look at this living room that I just finished and I'm like, oh, this looks really, really good. Like I remember how bad it was.
Yeah.
Like, this looks really good. The problem with me is that I keep running. I'll then slowly forget about it. And I'm like, what's the next project? And yeah, Adam, my fiance, is like, we're going to run out of projects at some point. And I was like, that's when you go back to the very first project and you redo that.
You sound like me.
Great. It just seems like you're going to be spiraling into money. And I'm like, yeah, all the time. But,
yeah, but you love me. So.
Yep. Well, now I've started moving on to the outdoor. So I'm doing, we just did I did the front yard, which I really should have hired people to do. I, of course, waited.
Well, the ground is so hard here, too. That's just another level.
Yeah. And then I waited until August this was to do anything. And then I was like, I can do this myself. So I was out in our front yard with a plowing machine trying to plow grass, which I did not know how to plow grass. I mean, I grew up in very urban Lansing, Michigan. My mom's from like a farming. And so I call her and I'm like, how do you plow? And she's like, what are you doing? Like, you live on like a third of an acre. Like, what are you plowing? I'm like, oh, I want to get rid of this grass. And so, I mean, I did it, but I definitely thought I had a heat stroke a few times. I just like laid in the front yard and I was like, what are you doing? It's 100, it's 100 degrees out. And like, you could definitely hire like a team of people to move. We zero-scaped everything. So of course there's 5 tons of rock sitting in our front and the street in front of us. And a friendly local policeman. It was like, you need to move that. So I was like, oh, so this is not going to be a multi-day project. I need to get all of this into the yard like today. So, yeah, fun times.
Good for you.
But it worked out.
Great workout.
It was. And now I'm doing the gardening, which I'm actually really enjoying. I did not I mean, obviously New York and didn't do a ton of gardening.
And are you getting into like the local
Doing all local
natives
plants,
and
all native plants. So I went to Ladybird and
so
learned
beautiful
about it
over
there.
there. Yeah.
Gorgeous. And then Waterloo Greenway has that whole like hill of like the hill country flora and fauna kind of thing.
Okay. I
So
haven't been over there.
it's really, really cool. So I took my phone, you can actually scan all these little things and it'll tell you what the plants are and how they work and everything. So I started just only buying local native plants because I also didn't want to do a ton of irrigation and all that stuff for drought. So it's turned out really, really well. It's also nice because every few months you get new flowers coming in because it naturally will just take over itself. So it's
That's
been
so
it's been
nice.
fun. But
You were smart about it.
I tried. I do not have the most amazing green thumb. It was a lot of trial and error. I killed a lot of plants. Let's be honest. Like I murdered a whole
Which is
group
tough
of plants.
because plants are expensive.
They are
and
expensive.
so it's irritating
Mm-hmm.
because you're investing so much and it takes so much work to get it in there.
Exactly. And then I finally figured I was buying full-size plants all the time because I wanted to see what the final look would be. And I'm like, have some patience and buy the small one and let it grow into what it's supposed to be.
Well, and then I'm sure it probably roots better and all of that.
It roots better. It's less expensive when you're not buying a full 5-foot tree to put in. And it was,
but you don't get that instant gratification.
You don't get the instant gratification, but like it was like I also like you're investing in the house. Like,
yeah.
We knew this was going to be kind of our forever home, so I was like, let's invest in it and like actually put seeds down. So it's working out well for right now. But we'll see.
So now you have to tackle the back though.
The backyard's next. There's a whole pool being added, so that's its own. And I mean, one of the reasons we picked this house was it has giant live oak trees on it. So and it has 3 historic live oak trees, and we had an arborist come out. And they're like, these are each
living oaks.
Yeah. And they were like, living. There you go. Nice plug. I liked it. But there's at least like 3 that they were like each one's over 100 or over 300 years old. So there's a lot of rules about what you can do. So that's gonna be the fun part is like trying to figure out where pretty much there's a corner of the lot in the very, very back corner that's as far away from the root systems as possible that we can put a pool. But yeah, it's going in there at some point.
When you have a pool, it'll be really nice.
I mean, I figure
it's life changer.
It's going to be amazing. But yeah, between that and we're planning a wedding, so we're trying to balance those two.
When are you getting married?
April of 2026. Okay. So yeah,
I'm an April baby. If you do it on the 28th,
we're 24th. We're like a few days before. We actually share anniversary with. Well, it will now be our anniversary with his best friends. Oh, that's so fun. We'll be doing couples anniversary, and it helps because then we can also remind each other when the anniversary is, so that nobody gets in trouble. So
that's hilarious.
But yeah,
are you getting married in Austin?
We're getting married in Austin. He's from El Paso, and with me being from Lansing, most of our friends are here. My friends from before, New York, LA. So we're like, let's just do it kind of at home.
Yeah.
So we're doing it here.
And it makes it easier for your planning, honestly. And if people from far away want to come, they will.
Well, and I figured it's a great opportunity to see Austin. We're doing a Friday wedding, so that way people have the entire weekend to kind of do what they want to do.
I love that.
And then, also I have a lot of clients here, so I tapped into it to help with the budget. So I'm working with Boa Steakhouse, which is one of my clients. It's doing the catering, and Assembly Hall we're working with for the venue. So now I'm getting into the nitty-gritty of decor.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, how am I doing these tables and all of that? So that's
and you live in event life all the time, so I'm sure
I will definitely be tapping someone. I and the fiance had a conversation where I was like, I don't want to resent this wedding, so I'm gonna like hire somebody to help.
Yeah.
And then he's like 100%. And it also helps to have somebody kind of in the middle that we can both throw ideas into, so that way I don't automatically override everything with, no, I know better.
Yeah.
I do this professionally. I know better. And then,
but that's kind of hard too, though.
Yeah, there will be burnt orange involved, and he's a mega UT fan. Went to UT, works at UT.
Oh,
we live
cool.
4 blocks from campus.
Oh my gosh.
We only picked it because it's close to the stadium. So, yeah, there will be burnt orange.
Do you guys go to the games? And
he has not missed a single home game in 20 years. He's gone to every single UT
Wow.
football game for 20 years. He also goes to basketball, volleyball, soccer. Yeah. Oh, he loves it.
Wow.
Do I
That's
go to
a
all those games?
super
Oh,
fan.
no. I do November because
Yeah.
it's like cools
Cool
down
enough.
enough to go then. Or if there's a really, really expensive game, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I want that ticket then. I'll go to that
Yeah.
one. So,
We're yet to go to a game, and I want to go so badly. We were kind of waiting until it was like easy and okay with
Mhm.
bringing our kids so they're big enough because they're 6 and 8 now. So we're like, all right, they can hang
Yeah.
and we can have fun, and it's going to be a good
There's
experience.
so many kids there, and they
Yeah.
actually, and it's very conducive to kids. Like they have a whole play area during halftime that they like, they're doing hot dogs and hamburgers, and like kids can sit there and like play soccer or
I
whatever.
love
Like,
that.
it's very nice. It's just I only go for the food.
Yeah.
So like every time I go to a different concession stand, I'm like, okay, let me try this new food.
Yeah.
And then I miss, like, I usually don't know who won by the end because I'm like, oh, I had too many hot dogs. I have to go home. Like, we're good. And it's walkable, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, we go to a lot of games. It's
That's
been
so
nice.
fun, though.
I haven't
But
got
it's
to one
like,
yet this season, but yeah,
we'll just start it.
yeah.
You're all right.
I've watched all of them, yes. Because I hear about them incessantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
That's
really
so funny.
And I'm the opposite. Like in New York, I cared nothing about sports. Like,
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm still that way. I don't really care about sports. I
Mhm.
grew up with a musical family.
Yep.
So my parents are musicians. We didn't ever have just like ESPN on ever.
Yeah.
And so even just like with the US Open, just this last weekend, my husband grew up
Mhm.
playing tennis.
Okay.
And so he really wanted to watch all the finals.
Mhm.
And so it was fun. It was exciting because my kids were getting into it. But I'm just like, can we mute it and have music playing instead? Like Sabrina Carpenter just put
something
out her
about-
album and I
Yeah.
really want to listen to it right now.
Amazing. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I worked with Andy,
Yeah.
and I didn't follow tennis, anything. Like, I mostly worked with him after he retired and
Yeah.
was working on the foundation. But yeah, no tennis.
I will
mean,
say the sport, once you understand it, is
it's
really
it
exciting.
is exciting.
Prior to like watching it so much,
Mhm.
and over the last 10 years I've been married, I've learned a lot. And so now it is more enjoyable
Yeah.
and I understand the terminology and the
That's
point
the hard-
system is
that's
so
the
confusing.
hard part. It's like you have to get into you have to know how to play it
Yeah.
to understand, to make it fun to watch.
Yeah.
Which like we did not watch sports growing up.
No.
My mom was very much like a PBS mom. Like I watched a lot of Chronicles of Narnia.
I love it.
I was also an indoor kid. Like my brother would go outside and play, and I was like, no, I'm gonna watch like PBS. She was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're a nerd. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, no. And then in New York, I just never went to like sporting events were expensive. I didn't want to go to those.
And if you're at a bar where they're playing the game, you're socializing. You're
You're
not watching the
socializing,
game.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, all my friends, none of them were into sports. I remember though, Brooklyn and Andy lived near my apartment, and Andy was playing in something, and Brooklyn had traveled, and she's like, "Oh, can I come over to your place and watch ESPN?" Our cable, we had just moved, and our cable hadn't been hooked up yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to check if we have it.
Have it?
And so I'm
not
like,
sure
in
if
there
I
with my
even have
roommate.
that
I'm like,
channel.
oh, it's right above Bravo. And she's like, yep, that sounds like you. Like, you didn't even know you had it. And I'm like, no, I think it must be on right after Real Housewives. Like, I don't watch
Yeah.
it, so, yeah.
That's so funny. So you've mentioned your time in New York
Mhm.
and you mentioned, when you felt like it was time to move here. But what did you kind of learn from your years there? I know when I was in New York, it gave me really tough skin.
Mhm.
It gave me a competitive edge that I never really had in my entire life. What are some foundational things that you learned just from your time there?
Yeah. I mean, I also, when I first moved to New York, it's a totally different world than Michigan, which I was not quite prepared for. Like, I'd been to New York one time to look at colleges. I took a tour, signed on, and moved there. And I wasn't really prepared for the competition. There's a lot of competition. The college was super competitive. And I was used to being surrounded by people from Michigan. We all were.
My sister lives in Michigan.
I love it.
Yeah.
Everyone's super nice.
Yeah.
We're not super competitive with each other, but everyone, I mean, especially in my high school, was like, we were like lower middle class, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone to Columbia, and suddenly I thought we were like, I was like, oh yeah, we do well. I did not understand how like rich people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
You're
was
like, I thought I was fine.
I thought I was like, oh yeah, I think we might be upper middle class.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we're lower middle class. So that very first experience, I'm going to school with kids whose names are on the buildings, or on city streets of New York, and even actors that like I just started at PR, but like Anna Paquin and Julia Stiles are like in my class. I was like, this is a very different situation. But I had come in from New York or from Michigan with a very strong work ethic. Like my mom, I think made me get a job when I was like 14, 15 years old. Like I was vacuuming office buildings at night.
Love it.
During the summers. Fun. And then I worked at Arby's, which to this day, I love Arby's.
Yeah.
People can people hate it, but I'm like, I love Arby's.
No, there's something about Arby's that's like, you know what you're going to get. And exactly you're going to enjoy it.
And there's curly fries.
Sorry.
Like, there's nothing better than the curly fries. So I had always had a job. So like, going to college when I first went to college, a lot of the kids had never had a job or didn't have to work. So like a lot of that was, I was constantly doing an internship, plus working, plus going to school. I think you learn that hustle in New York. That it's like, if you're going to survive, you're going to have to hustle.
Yeah.
Unless you have a ton of money, which you also have the competitive edge over those people. You'll outwork them. So, I mean, one of my first actually almost every internship, there was always some kind of legacy kid.
Of course.
That's like a client's kid or, a celebrity's kid that's working. And you have to kind of outwork them in order to prove yourself because, they're coming in with all designer clothes. And especially we're working fashion PR. I couldn't afford half the brands that I was working at.
Oh my gosh.
Like I was like, it's generic clothes or like non-name brand or vintage.
Yeah.
Those were your options. And I'm, working with kids that just went to the Prada store and bought the entire new Prada outfit to go work at the Prada fashion show.
Yeah.
I'm like, I will wear black and just no logos anywhere to make it look, because, it came from Target.
Yeah.
But I had to outwork them by showing I learned a ton. So I think that was one of the first things in New York is like, it's a lot of it is based on ability. And if you're not just handed over the ability and you learn it, you can do really, really well. So I think that was one of the biggest lessons I learned in New York is just like work really, really hard.
Get some grit.
Get some grit. And then you'll have expertise from the actual experience where you're not just relying on the image of most of, a lot of my new clients are like, oh, I remember you worked on that kind of thing. It's not like, oh, I remember you were at the party. It's like you were the one putting out the fire.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how I would get, new clients.
Yeah, because they trust you. They know you're able.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not all, it's just the look of it.
But. Yeah. Well, being known for being at the party is probably great for some people. It's not going to.
It's great. But yeah, like it doesn't pay the bills.
No, sure doesn't.
And, when, there's a crisis, the one that's at the party doesn't usually have the answers of like how to handle something in a calm way to get things taken care of. So
I like that you say in a calm way because that's so much, I'm sure, a part of your job. And I feel that way even in my line of work. Things happen where something's not on site or, somebody put something in the wrong place and you have to calmly, collectly come up with a solution in order to move past it. What's something, if you can, share a story where it was just like a huge, and you just kind of.
I mean, let's see.
I did have an event. Probably done so.
Oh, no, there's so many of them. Like something goes wrong and everything.
Yeah.
Like, and you prepare for that. I did have one where I was working at a fashion show where it was back when we did RSVPs via phone.
Oh, okay.
No email. You called the line, RSVP'd, yes, I'll be there. No, I won't be there. And, it was printed invitations. There was no email invitations. We had sent the invitations out. And I think I made the assumption that all of our numbers were 212-667-1234, 1233,
Yeah.
I assumed we had that number. It was part of our RSVP. No, we did not own that number. Like the number I put on the RSVP, we did not own.
Oh no!
It went to some old lady in Upper Harlem, and she's just getting all these calls, and I'm like, why am I not getting any RSVPs on this line? And I had inverted the numbers, and so I had to call this woman, and be like,
have you been getting RSVPs?
have you been getting calls? She's like, what is this Luca fashion show? Like, everyone wants to go. And I'm like, first of all, you can come.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you. Second of all, we're going to need to buy your phone number. And I had to buy the phone number to get like the RSVP. So like, there's always a solution. But I think Carolyn, your guys' publicist, actually said it's PR, not ER.
Yeah.
Like, you also have to have a certain level of perspective on how big of a deal something is on the larger scale of things. So like, that's why like I consume so much media. Like, I read the Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Post, and Austin American Statesman, the Daily Dallas Morning News every morning to give me a little bit of sense of their perspective. Like, there's other things happening in the world.
Yeah.
A party mishap is probably not going to kill you. And it's like,
I love that.
And it's also, it's a good story sometimes. So like,
yeah,
in the end, you can't affect everything. You sometimes just need to have the perspective of like, this is a small, dig in a larger thing of like, at least we're not, we're not part of a war effort right now. Like there's so many other things going on. You have to have perspective.
Yes. And I think that a lot of people lose that when they're in it every day.
And I get it. Like when you're a small business owner, like you live in that. And I mean, some of my larger corporate clients, they call it, drinking the Kool-Aid, but like they live it every day. Yeah. And so like it becomes a much bigger deal for them. And I understand that 100%. But you also have to like sometimes insert that sense of reality to it of like, you need to look at the larger perspective. Like I often will tell a client, like, you have to do the mom test. Like they're like, I want to do this press release about this new thing we're doing, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's really not that big of a news. Yeah. And I'm like, why don't you, like, if you called your mom and told her this, would she care? And they're like, no. And I'm like, your mom loves you.
Yeah.
The journalist does not. Like, it's like, if your mom doesn't care, it's not big enough news. Like, it's like, let's really do the mom test. Like,
that's hysterical. I love that.
Yeah. It's like, if someone that loves you unconditionally couldn't really care less about, like, that you added a new app feature on, like, maybe the Wall Street Journal's not like, not going to be like, oh, let me definitely write a front page story on it.
And of course, to that person, I mean, they've been working so hard
100%.
on that day in and day out. And they're like, I finally accomplished it. Tell the world. Yeah.
But I think as part of having the perspective is also seeing, like, how does that thing that you did interact with all the other things happening in the world? Is this going to help certain people that are actually going through a larger thing that is being written about by the New York Times? So, like, enter the conversation that way rather than, like, it's always about me. Yeah. Like, it's like,
just put out a release.
It's like, put the release out. I'm like, it's the New York Times. It's not
where's the story?
I'm the client, like, newsletter. So, like, it's finding how you kind of fit into that larger world and that conversation. And it also, I feel it's often a good guiding principle for your business of, like, if you're not doing anything that affects large amounts of people, that's fine. Yeah. But like, don't expect a lot of PR promotion on it. But like, if, you're adding a charity component to something that is helping other people, it's going to get more press coverage because you're actually affecting a larger group.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that that's really smart. And it shows why you're so good at what you do, because you're guiding people to get the coverage in the appropriate way versus, I
mean, I think
setting them out to.
I'm just like, oh, here you go. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I think that from small business owner to small business owner, I always am trying to help them, no matter, like, if it's PR stuff. I mean, that's what I'm hired to do. But sometimes it is making recommendations on a business strategy of, like, this might be better if you, as I would expect another small business person to help me. Yeah. So, like, I think we all kind of help each other out of, like, why don't we add this element to it? Like, for a lot of my larger clients, like Hermes, when they opened here, I was like, why don't we look at adding local elements to it? Like, not only is that going to help our PR story, but, like, it's going to help actual customers, like, make a connection with a brand that they may not either know or that they don't really connect with because you're based out of Paris and you're like a giant fashion brand.
Yeah. And people here love it here.
They love it here.
And they want to support Austin. They want to
know, like, why did you move here?
Yeah.
Like, if a brand's moving here,
they've got to have a reason.
You have a reason. And it shouldn't be completely, we want to make more money. It's, oh, I felt a connection with this company. So like we just opened Jones Road here. And I mean, Bobby Brown loves Austin. Like she's like, bring on this Austin element and this Austin element. Like she wanted to be here because she likes Austin. And so like, I always want to highlight that to media of like, we live in a very special place that a lot of people want to be. Yeah. You should be very grateful that you live in this place, but we also want to show their appreciation of that place through special events, through those kind of things, and bringing local elements. Because it's really what makes Austin special.
Yeah, it really is. And you really feel that when you come here too.
I mean, the pride that people that move here like 3 months ago are like, oh my, I'm like such an Austinite. I'm like, okay, but yes, like
I support it.
We're everyone's so welcoming.
Well, but that's like what's so cool.
And they want to be part of Austin. Everyone wants to be part of that larger group. And Austin has its own identity that I think people are very protective over, which is great. But they are also very proud of.
And it's very different from the rest of Texas.
Oh, it's very different.
You know?
Yeah. I work on some Dallas stuff and I'm like, oh, this is very different.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been interesting. The entire move to Texas for me was my family is very Michigan liberal.
Are they still there in Michigan?
They're all there.
Okay.
My mom lives 2 miles from where we grew up. Okay. My brother moved to New York, and then he moved to LA, and then he moved to Detroit, and then he moved back. Now he's like a block and a half away from my mom. So, we were actually out there 2 weeks ago for vacation.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, no, like they're all very liberal Michigan Democrat.
Yeah.
And they could not understand. They're like, you're moving to Texas?
Yeah.
And then
you're like, but it's Austin.
But they came to visit Austin the first time. And they're like, oh, I get it. Yeah. It's not like, and my mom also just lives very much in like one time period. Yeah. So like she's thinking that everything is Dallas, the TV show, or Dynasty. Yeah. Everything is like, all of Texas is that.
That's too funny. So, that's great. But it's so nice that, they come to visit, you get to get a little piece of that there, and you still get your family time together.
Exactly.
I find it interesting when people stay in the same place but don't explore other areas.
I can't imagine that life. Yeah. Like I try. I mean, even though I love Austin, I look forward to I try to do a trip every year somewhere else just to get a different perspective, so that I'm like, it also gives you a little bit of a global perspective of like, yeah, maybe sometimes like America isn't as great as we always think it is. Yeah. When you go to London and someone at a pub will question you forever about politics. So I try to,
it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm Canadian, don't worry about it. Yeah. So I try to sneak out of the country occasionally. So but I can't imagine living in the same area. But I mean, my grandmother never left the county that she was born in.
I feel like generationally that makes sense. Yeah. Though.
I mean, as technology got better and you could travel, and I mean, now kids are connected to other kids around the world through social media and things like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
They're getting those perspectives there. So, I mean, yeah. But yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone, I think, is extremely important to getting a better sense of who you are. It's like, okay, I now know what I'm not and what I don't believe in, from sometimes just going somewhere and be like, oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that experience.
Well, when you're getting out of your comfort zone, you're challenging yourself to do something that's hard, scary, different, and that's why, and it's all how you handle that to know,
I mean, and that's the only way to really grow is I mean, it's like exercise. It's going to be uncomfortable. Yeah. You have to be okay living in the uncomfortable for a little bit. It will get more comfortable, but it takes time. It takes time and
work.
You can't be complacent and only want everything to be comfortable. If everything's comfortable all the time, it's probably too easy.
And boring.
It's boring. It's you're going to do the same thing in and out every day. Yeah. I mean, my grandmother did. She loved it. But she loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I'm sure she had other challenges along the way, when her family would
she
move
lived
away.
On a farm with 3 kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, she had garter snakes. I would never live that life. But yeah.
That sounds like a horrible challenge.
Yeah, no. We used to visit her, and I was like, that was my biggest fear. I mean, nature in general was my biggest fear. I was definitely, again, the indoor child.
It's so funny. My husband wants us to camp
Oh, no, I'm
so
not
badly. And I'm like, I will go hiking all day, but put
at
me in a
night,
hotel at night, please. Like, I just don't want to stay in a tent.
Yeah, we tried.
I would like to take a shower.
Yeah, showers, beds, air conditioning.
Yes.
Bugs I can't do. So yeah, like my mom tried to take us on a family camping trip, and I forced us at the age of 8 to book a hotel. So we stayed at a hotel. But like now it's really bad because like I'm like, oh, a Holiday Inn, that seems like camping. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's just a Holiday Inn. I'm like, is there not a Ritz? And she's like, it's Traverse City, Michigan, Jesse. Like,
Yeah.
we're all staying at the Holiday Inn.
You're gonna have to just deal with
Yeah,
this.
like it is camping, glamping, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So we were just in California over the summer when the tsunami hit, and we were in Southern California, so we were safe, but I was still very much out of my comfort zone because we're in Texas. I've never dealt with anything on the West Coast ever, but we were there for almost a month, and we were just trying to like enjoy, embrace it. Like the kids learned to surf.
Oh yeah, fun.
It was a really cool, fun family experience where like my husband and I can work remotely, so we did. And
if you can, you should definitely 100% should.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then, we get these alerts. We're at dinner and it's like, oh, there's a
potential tsunami.
Yeah, there's a tsunami coming. We're like, what do we do? We're staying at a place that's only a mile above sea level and I'm terrified. So we have our dog and our cat with us. So we quickly book like the easiest hotel we can that's like 7 miles above or whatever. And it was fine, but we pulled up and my kids are like, is this the room we're staying? I'm like, it's a hotel that accepts animals and it was available last minute and we're not going to drown from the tsunami. So
there you go. Yeah.
But I was like, are we creating, privileged little humans? But it is what it is.
I feel like, I've become that privileged person. It's really bad.
But we're like, we're safe. It's great. Exactly. And we're all going to snuggle in this one king size bed together.
I love a family trip. I mean, my mom was looking at moving originally from Michigan. She was like, oh, maybe I'll move in Santa Fe, or I think she looked at Flagstaff, Arizona. She was like, oh, I want to go to visit these places. Will you come with me? And I'm like, it doesn't really make sense to like fly from each one. So I was like, why don't you fly into Dallas? I'll pick you up and drive you. So we stopped in Santa Fe, and the very first stop, she's like, it's really cold here. And I'm like, that seems like something you could check on Wikipedia situation. I was like, okay. She's like, I don't think Santa Fe is not for me. It's cold, too cold. So we get to Flagstaff, same situation.
From Michigan?
From Michigan.
It's cold there.
Yeah. She's like, it's chilly. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, it's not for me. So then we drive on to, we're going to LA to see my brother, and my aunt has a place in Palm Springs that she shares with my mom, and she's like, oh, I like Palm Springs. I'm like, where we own a home? Like, did I just drive across the country for you to check the weather at 2 places?
Yeah.
So
that's too funny.
But yeah, that was.
Hey, she knew what she wanted and what she didn't want.
Exactly. But that was one where I was like, I need to research hotels that we're staying in. And she was like, wherever, it's fine. Like, we're together. And I'm just like, I don't know about all that. Like, I was like, I'm gonna like, we're in like Santa Fe. Like, we need like art stuff around us. And she's like, I don't care, Jesse. It's like a Holiday Inn. It's fine.
That's so funny. That's nice. It seems you're very close with your family, which is why you're probably such a in-touch human when you're working with your clients and everything too.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like that's a piece of it.
It is. I mean, my brother and I were one of the, like, we hated each other growing up. Up until the day as soon as I went to college, we suddenly became best friends. But I think it was like living in the same house.
Younger?
He's younger.
Okay.
He's 3 years younger. But then, after I moved to New York, he moved for like an internship at MTV. We lived together for a little bit. He ended up living with some of my roommates from college. I mean, we hung out all the time. Moved to LA, would see him all the time when I was working. Now we're like best friends. But yeah, growing up, hated each other. Absolutely fought every day. And my mom was like, you kids were very similar in personality, but completely different in interests. Like, he's all sports, all outside. I was indoors. I was like
PBS.
Reading a book. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I love books. And he's like, you're a loser. But I mean, he was way cooler than I was. I used to go to summer camp, and he'd make friends with like all the campers while visiting. And I wouldn't be friends with any of them. Like the entire time you were there. Like the entire summer. They're like, oh, who's like, you're super cool. Why are you here? They're like, oh, that's my brother. Does he go here? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I've been here the entire summer.
You're like, you didn't see me over here.
Yeah, but he made friends with everybody. So I learned a lot about socializing from him. He's very much the carefree, and I was like the worrywart. Now we've kind of both balanced each other out, I think. So
it's all growth. You guys helped each other.
we try,
awesome.
and now I have 2 wonderful nieces, but that he has. So yeah, they're a trip. We just did the week in Michigan, and I forgot how 3-year-olds have the amount of energy they have and the lack of filter in anything.
That's the best part. It's entertainment.
It was entertainment. I mean,
I did not know how ugly some of my outfits were until I was told by a 3-year-old on the regular. She was like,
you're like,
why?
actually, I'm very fashionable.
I was like, this is a designer. She's like, who? Why? Like a lot of, and she rolls her eyes just like I did when I was little. My mom says, she's like, oh no, she's gonna be you. But like,
that is hilarious. Wait till she's older. She's gonna love to hear that story.
Oh, she's a joy. She's a fun one.
That's so funny. So something I like to ask all my guests before we're all done is, do you have any like day-to-day rituals that kind of anchor you, that kind of spark joy? And
let's see. I mean, I wake up and I immediately start consuming media. I read for at least 2 hours probably in the morning of like just every newspaper. There's like a lot of like the newsletters.
Do you read them online?
I read them online.
Okay.
I read the newsletter version of it so I can get like all the major points, and then I kind of start delving into it. I don't know if it's an obsession. It probably is. I have to finish all of the games in the New York Times game section before I start work. And I will sometimes like push back a meeting if I'm like, I haven't finished the crossword and I need to finish it before this workday starts.
So funny.
Just to get like the things rolling. So that's one of my big ones, is like reading a lot. I walk the dogs. That being outside helps, just like start the day well. And again, like walking out into like a design space is just like putting up the touch on the space immediately by putting on music, lighting a candle, doing something that like kind of interacts with your environment helps me kind of feel a little bit more grounded in that day. And I work from home, so like I'm not switching to an office, so I kind of need something that gets me into work mode.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because as soon as I start the dinner, I'm back into, okay, this dining or this kitchen is now back into a home.
Yes.
And it's not my temporary office where I'm going to be doing conference calls. So I think that's one of the big ones. Exercise recently, I was the worst about exercise for like all of New York. I never went. I was like, I walked to the subway. Wasn't that enough?
Yeah.
And then
well, you're always on your feet in New York. You were always on your feet. So it's different.
But I also then was eating pizza every day to like be able to afford rent. So I really quickly gained like 50 pounds. And so like moving back to Austin was like, it was nice to be able to get back outdoors. And finding that balance. I mean, like a lot of it is, I think Jen was talking about it. Like that was one of my priorities of moving here, was people had a sense of balance, and the cost of living and the speed in which people move, like you could find balance. And people here didn't throw a fit when you were like, it's 6 o'clock. I'm done. It's home family time. Where in New York, I was like, I think I was expected to work until like 10, 11 o'clock. And they're like, well, you have to work until the project's done. I'm like, the project will never be done. Absolutely. It's always going to be something new. So being able to like kind of clock out here and like, I go to the gym or I'll go walk around the lake. I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. Yeah. It's my time. I'm going to do my own thing. So that's been really great.
Yeah. And I think once you manage people's expectations to understand.
It's so much easier. But like, it's
hard to get to the point where you allow it, because it weighs on you if you don't just check things off your list, or there's an email coming in.
And I feel like, especially when you're younger, you feel obligated to do all of these things. And then you have to also realize that like your life and your work, even, especially if you're a small business, is you have to put value to it yourself. Yeah. And be able to put up some boundaries of like, no, my time is worth this. I'm not doing this for free, or I'm not doing it in my spare time. Again, kind of for free is what so like sometimes putting that boundary up of like, no, this is my time. I'm doing this. Yeah. I'm saying no. I'm like, I'm happy to pick it up tomorrow. Or, sometimes it's like, you're going to hit a bandwidth level.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you can't do it anymore, or you can't do it anymore. So like, you have to sometimes just be able to say, that's all I can do for this. Like, I'm happy to recommend somebody else. I'm happy to bring in some like additional help. I'm happy to add more hours, but like, it's like, this is kind of what we discussed, and this is where we are.
It's hard to have those tough conversations.
It is. And I mean, I think that's one of the first things you have to learn in business, especially if you own your own company. It's like, you can't help you can't be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
And what someone's paying you, they're paying you for giving out the occasional freebie. Sure, because they're friends, great.
Yeah.
But like, you can't do everything for free.
Well, and you give people an inch, sometimes they take a mile, and I don't think they realize they're doing it. So I don't think it's like a malicious thing, but it's like, I don't think you know what my time is worth and how many things I need to be working on. And right now, you're expecting me to do this for you for free, which is not.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's your passion, sometimes you have to keep your passion for yourself, and you can't just be. You'll become dispassionate about it if you give it out to everyone, and you're just doing it to the point that like you're exhausted.
For sure.
And you're just like, I would never want to get to the point where like I don't like doing PR because I do too much of it. I'm like, no, I'll save some for myself.
Yeah,
so,
I love that.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Well, thank you, Jesse.
Well, thank you for having me.
This has been so
It's
amazing
been
to have you. I think that our conversation has been just lovely, and I'm so happy you're in Austin. I have to say,
to be here, and I'm excited to constantly stop by your store and
I know,
refreshing my space. So
it's gonna be so fun.
You'll be in business a very long time because I have a lot more rooms to constantly read in.
Exactly. Now that I know, and be like, Jesse, it's been about 2 months. I think we need
Let me know whenever you have new things coming in. I will be there.
Well, thank you. And thanks for spending a little time here with Laura. If you enjoyed today's conversations, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, leave a review, or share the episode with a friend. It helps more than you know. And you can find more about me, today's guests, and everything we talked about in today's show notes. And until next time, take care of yourself and don't forget to make space for what really matters.